歡迎收睇美國專訊。蔡吉娜係新聞界最著名嘅跨性別女性之一。我哋嘅記者納爾遜呢最近採訪過佢。下邊係有關嘅報導。
I'm Gina Chua. I'm executive editor at Reuters. You know, when I was young, I didn't feel like I was like everybody else. I don't know what age that would be, 8, 9, 10, you know, something like that. I don't think I really knew what it was. And, you know, and if you think back to those days, which was the 1960s and the 1970s, there just really wasn't a lot. There was no internet. There was nothing you could look up. You know, so I really started to understand that I was transgender. So I'm from Singapore. I was born in Singapore. All males in Singapore have to join the army, and so I was in the military for 2.5 years. Started working as a computer programmer for a bit, and then as a journalist, and then went off. I won a scholarship to go to Columbia Journalism School in New York, so I came for a year. That scholarship was paid for by Reuters, and then 9 months after that, I became editor of the Asian Wall Street Journal. Did that for 8 years, moved to New York for the Wall Street Journal, became deputy managing editor, and in 2011 came back to Reuters in New York, and I've been here since. You know, how did I manage it through all of the years? I'm very good at compartmentalizing. It's like this part of my life here, and then it's done, and now I'm in this part of my life here. And I think a lot of trans people go through cycles. I think the important thing is you remove one element of the unhappiness in your life. That doesn't necessarily make you happy, but you do get rid of one thing that's bothering you. You get rid of one thing that is occupying part of your mind. I just turned 60 a month ago. It was one of the factors in my decision, honestly, but I didn't want to get to 65 and say, why didn't I do it? Life is too short to be somebody that you are not.
加州州立大學23間分校嘅學生記者喺新冠疫情期間幫助學生了解最新嘅情況，發揮咗重要嘅作用。下邊係我哋嘅記者奧沙利文嘅報導。呢個係美國最大嘅公立學校系統，總共有48萬5千名學生。自從新冠大流行同遠程上課開始以嚟，學生一直渴望獲得最新嘅消息，尤其係影響到加州州立大學，亦即係 CSU 系統嘅新聞。學生記者喺呢度正好大派用場。
Whether that's board of trustees, whether that's campus presidents, whether that's student organizations, it's difficult for them to really see what's happening across the CSU. Because yes, they can go online to each of the individual CSU student papers and try to find stories there.
但係並冇單一嘅新聞來源，所以加州理工學院聖路易斯奧比斯波分校嘅麥格龍喺佢嘅最後一個學年決定分享校區新聞。佢同加州州大嘅其他學生創立咗學生新聞通訊。學生記者喺互聯網平台 Slack 嘅聊天室開會，並且通過自行發布網站 Substack 共享報導。學生新聞通訊報導咗亞裔美國人同太平洋島民最近喺連串由於種族因素而攻擊嘅事件之後所舉行嘅示威活動。
Not everybody is in, you know, these major cities that are having these large protests. And with San Francisco, there's always something going on.
喺洛杉磯郊區嘅加州州立大學多明格斯山分校，學生報導校內外嘅事件。
So a lot of our big, hard-hitting news stories have been in regards to racial reconciliation, updates on COVID protocols, construction happening on campus, and how the campus is helping students with the virtual and distance learning environment.
當新聞引起廣泛注意嘅時候，佢哋會被分享出去。一名最近畢業但仍然喺學生報紙工作嘅校友話：編輯室需要多樣化嘅觀點，但係佢又認為
Don't hire me just because Black Lives Matter is happening in the summer and you don't have a black journalist to cover it. Hire me, you know, maybe you do want that black perspective, but also respect that I also want to talk about things that aren't about trauma or police brutality or something like that.
據一名學院顧問話，學生記者提供咗喺其他地方睇唔到嘅報導。
You're not going to see this in the LA Times. You're not going to see this in the San Diego Union Tribune. You're not going to see this in the Bakersfield Californian. We have original content that can't be duplicated anyplace else.
學生記者指出， 佢哋喺校園嘅報導程序同其他主流傳媒一樣。
Student journalists are kind of looked down on or not considered as legitimate, but we're out here telling the stories, a lot of the same stories. But what makes us really special and what sets us apart is that we are dedicated to telling the stories of campus.
佢哋喺孤立嘅狀況期間，繼續不懈向公眾提供新聞。記者奧沙利文、洛杉磯報導。多謝收睇美國專訊，下次嘅節目時間再見。